Welcome. This is Mrs. Tolen. I wanted to give you a little bit of information about my classroom this year. Your students heard this information today, and I thought it would be good to also share the information with you so that you can hear the changes that we're making that will definitely benefit your students. My contact information is at the top of this page. This is a page that also should come home with your students so that you can ask to see this. This is my email. You're welcome to email me anytime you have questions. Please contact me. This is my Twitter handle. I do sometimes post pictures of the fun things that we do in class, so you're welcome to check that out as well. The first change that I want to talk about is the focus of learning in the classroom. And I know we always think that that is the focus for learning, but sometimes our focus kind of gets on the grade and not on the learning, and our focus is definitely on the learning this year. I want students to know how they learn. I want them to learn in the way that best fits their needs. So we're going to have choices of things that they can do that will help them learn in the way that they learn best. There will still be projects that everybody has to do. There will still be very minimal practice that they will have to do, but they're ultimately going to be choosing what they need to do to learn. And we'll kind of help guide them along that path so that they know how they learn best. So that takes us to the flipped classroom mentality that we're going to have this year. I will be posting videos that I will create. I will also link some additional videos that have been created by other people for the students to watch at night. There will be guided notes that they will take to go along with it. It will be posted inside of Google Classroom. Google Classroom is something that your student can log into with their Google account created by the school. And you, unfortunately, do not have access to that, but I do encourage you to have your students show you what is inside of Google Classroom because the videos will be available every day. If for some reason you don't have internet access at home or you're going to be at a place where you don't have internet access, I will encourage students to use their flex time to watch the videos. They're only 15 minutes long. You do have a little note sheet to fill out that goes along with it. So use your flex time. You have 40 minutes of flex time. So you taking 15 minutes of it to fill out your video notes shouldn't take too much of your time, and you can still get done everything else that you need to get done. With the packet, there will be some practice. So here's an example of the first one, and we'll come back to this page in just a second. So here's the note sheet. And then after the notes are taken, there is some practice. I'm only assigning the odd numbers of all of the practice for the students to do. We will also be providing answers. So I'm encouraging students that if they are getting the wrong answer while practicing this, stop, get some help from me or from one of the other teachers, and make sure that you're doing it right. These packets won't be turned in until we take an assessment, so they will have plenty of time to go back and work on things that they didn't understand or get help from. The second part of our class that we're going to do this year is standards-based grading, and it's mastery learning standards-based grading. And so our classroom is going to be divided up into math standards and non-math standards. So in the grade book, there will be 80% math standards and 20% non-math standards. And the non-math standards are like completing your task on time, making sure that you completed everything that was required. If there's any group participation that's required, that will be a standard. So everything that we have will be assessed with a rubric with that sort of information. The standards are multiple places. They're located on their packet that I will give them. So at the beginning of every packet, these are the standards for this unit. So unit 1 kind of starts off small. And notice that this is actually standard 1, but at the beginning we're breaking it up into 4 standards. As we go along, those will then become just one standard. But right now we want to make sure that we're getting all of the parts. When a student takes an assessment, instead of getting a 90% or a 100% or whatever percentage they got, they will be getting this form back. So you can see that this is out of 5. 5 means that on the standard they had no errors, 4.5 and on down. After 3, 3 means that you have some conceptual idea. If you don't have a conceptual idea about what's going on, then that is a 0, and we need to continue to work on that. We really want to strive for a 4 or higher. That shows a really good grasp of what is going on. So they will get this back, and based on the questions on their test, they will have a 5, 4.5, 4, 3, or 0 listed here. And then that will translate to the grade book. If you will look at the top of the grade book, we have the standards listed across the top. The ones in blue are our math standards. And then if you scroll to the end, these will be our non-math standards. So this will be 80%. This will be 20% of their grade. The other change that we're talking about, we are going to have a running total to the end of the semester. And the reason we're doing that is because we want students to be able to go back and work on skills that they didn't understand. So as we reassess, so we'll have all of these standards in Unit 1. When we reassess in Unit 2, the Unit 1 standards will also be there. So when they reassess, we will go back and we will replace the scores from Unit 1 with the new scores. If you knew it the first time, we're assuming that you're going to know it the second time and just add the additional information onto it. If you didn't know it the first time, then you get the opportunity to raise that score the second time. Yes, if a student gets a lower score on the second test than they did the first time, the lower score will replace it. But that just tells us that they need a little more work in that area, and that's one of them that we can target for additional support. So at quarter, they will have a grade on their grade card, but it is just a snapshot of where the student is at that time. Semester grades are the only grades that show up on your transcript, so we will take our final grade for those standards at semester. So flipped classroom, the students are going to be watching videos at home and completing the work there and with us. During our class time, we are going to have multiple opportunities for students to work with us. We are also going to have projects that they're going to work on. We will have some one-on-one tutoring for the students who still have questions about some of the standards. This is going to give us more time to work with students and less time spent just talking to them about new information. They can get that at home or in flex class as they watch the video. There will be a lot of support though. I really like this because not everybody gets it the first time, and that's okay. It's the end result that's the most important. So as long as they get it in the end, that's what we want. So that's why we're doing the standards-based mastery grading. Talk a little bit about technology. We will use the Chromebooks frequently in class, so make sure that they are charged. Make sure you bring your charger with you because especially if I have you 4th hour, you've used it all day, then it's a possibility that it's not charged by the time you get to me, and then you will be behind because we will use it most days. I do tutor every single day. I tutor from 7:20 to 7:40 in the morning. 7:40 is when school starts. And then I will be tutoring after school Monday through Thursdays, 2:50, and it says 3:15, but I'll probably go to 3:20 most days. I do have meetings that come up on occasion. I have a board in my room where I will post any deviations from the tutoring schedule. So if I have a meeting on Wednesday, I will post ahead of time, no tutoring on Wednesday due to this meeting. Supplies are there. I won't read that to you. This is the calculator that we have in the classroom. It is not a calculator that can be checked out to be taken home. So if a student wants a calculator to take home, that's the one like what we have in our classroom. The Chromebooks do have calculator apps that they can use, so don't feel like you have to buy a calculator. They can get by using their Chromebook. And most of the calculator apps on the Chromebook don't require Wi-Fi, so even if you don't have internet at home, they can still do that. This is the information for Google Classroom right here. It just talks about how you can't have access to that, but your students can definitely show you. It's nothing secret. We actually encourage them to log into Classroom and show you what's going on. Remind, however, is for you and your student. I will be sending out updates and information through Remind And I would like for the parents to see the same things that the students see so that you can kind of help me um, remind them and keep them on track, especially with the freshman year. Sometimes things are kind of an adjustment. So if we have both of us working together, then we can help them be more successful. I'm going to put this back up here again for my email address. I do post a little bit of information on my website, but not as much this year. Most of it will go into Google Classroom. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. You're also welcome to stop in after school. Just remember that I have tutoring, so I'll have to get my students started before I do that. And I look forward to a great year with your students. Thank you for your time.